Hi, I'm Ben Markham. I want to tell you a little bit about Empower Playgrounds, a humanitarian effort that I started several years ago. The basic motivation behind EPI is to help kids in rural Ghanaian schools get a better educational opportunity. I was motivated to work on that because I was very blessed in my life and felt this need to pay forward. After I retired, my wife and I served an LDS mission into Ghana, West Africa. I visited a rural school where the church was renting classrooms for their church services. I sat and looked around at this dark, ill-equipped classroom and said, how does anyone ever learn anything here? That led me to the idea of what could we do to make it better? Of course, the first thing that came to mind was some light. Can we generate a little bit of power and use that to charge lanterns for the kids to study? In Ghana, the school day starts about 8 o'clock in the morning and runs till 2 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, the kids go home and get involved in doing other things for their family. So there's no opportunity to study. So about 6:30, after the sun's down, the kids do have an opportunity to study, but they have no light. I came home from Ghana with the idea of doing something with playground equipment and talked with some friends I had at Brigham Young University Engineering. Working with BYU, we made a design for a merry-go-round and we built one in Provo. It was successful. We actually had kids test it. And so we took key components to Ghana, and that BYU team built the first merry-go-round. That merry-go-round was installed in 2008 in Asem village in rural Ghana. We learned a lot from the first merry-go-round. One of the key things is we designed it assuming maybe 20 kids would play on it. We allowed for that much weight. Less than 5 minutes after the merry-go-round was installed, there were over 80 kids on it. They were jumping up and down, singing, having the time of their life. We ended up building 7 of these original merry-go-round models in Ghana. Unfortunately, the merry-go-round didn't last long. There was too much weight, too much torque, and we had to start redesigning some of the components. They were working, but it was taking a lot of our attention. I was sitting in my office one afternoon and the telephone rang. He was the CEO of Playworld Systems. He'd found us on the internet. I said, can you build a merry-go-round? He said, we can build anything. And so we started working with them, shared our design with them, which they materially upgraded because they knew what they were doing, and started building all metal, very well coated merry-go-rounds for us. They're beautiful. Some have been in service more than 5 years and they still look almost new, and it spins very well. We build them with a window in them so the children can see both the generator and the gearbox inside. We do want them to be educated while they're playing on the merry-go-round. There's great education that comes directly from play. In most of these little rural villages, it's hard to find mothers who can read. Moms that read really make a difference on education. We've also been successful in getting a number of children in high school, but probably the one that I like the most is the number of teachers that tell me how much fun it is to teach in a school that has the EPI system there. More kids are in class. They're assigned to work in these little rural villages, and many of them don't particularly like the assignment because of things like sanitation and water, and that problem gets solved with the EPI system. I like to tell people that the cost of EPI works out to be about $10 per student per year. The fact is, one of our merry-go-round systems costs about $10,000 installed. The other things we do, including science kits, libraries, boreholes, classroom blocks, toilets, we like to get special donations to cover. It's been 10 years since we started installing merry-go-rounds. I was very, very excited that first day. Seeing the children in a sim village literally mob the merry-go-round. They'd never had anything to play on before. And the excitement has continued.